There's now a dome in downtown Buffalo thanks to the Occupy Buffalo demonstrators. News 4's Rachel Kingston is live for you with the story tonight. Rachel?
Think of the Spaceship Earth Dome at Epcot, only on a much smaller scale. That's the sort of structure that the occupiers are building, as you can see here behind me in Niagara Square. Now, it's got three main components. There's a wooden platform at the base that sort of serves as a foundation. Metal piping is bolted down to the wood and built up in a pattern of triangles. That's where the term geodesic comes from. A thick nylon shell finishes it all off, sort of like the stuff party tents are made out of, only stronger. Even without a heater, it should help keep the occupiers warm and dry. Now, ordinarily, a dome like this would cost thousands of dollars, but it was given to the occupiers by an anonymous donor.
This is somebody who felt strongly about the movement and wanted to make sure that people stayed warm who were intending to stay here over the winter. You go through protests together and you have some harrowing moments. You start to build some solidarity and some real closeness. And I think that's, this is just another example of that.
Now, the dome is pretty hard to miss, certainly a reminder of the occupiers' intention to stay here in place right through the thick of things. The city, though, may not be warming up to the idea as much, and I'll explain why coming up at the bottom of the hour. Reporting live in Niagara Square, Rachel Kingston, News 4 at 6.
There's by Buffalo protesters want people to know that the weather won't stop them from their mission. News 4's Rachel Kingston is live for you in Niagara Square tonight. Good evening, Rachel.
Good evening, Nalina, and good evening to you at home. You may have driven through Niagara Square already the past couple of days and thought to yourself, gee, what the heck is that big dome thing? Well, it's a geodesic dome, to be precise, and it's going to keep the Occupy protesters warm and dry during their encampment here in Niagara Square. The occupiers have been working all weekend on getting this dome up. Its unique design is intended to keep out wind, wet, and cold of all sorts, making it a more permanent and stable structure than the tents that have been filling Niagara Square. It was given to the occupiers by an anonymous donor. Now, to them, it symbolizes their lofty goals. The city has been quite all right with what's going on here in the square for the most part, but this more permanent structure may become an obstacle to snow plowing operations.
One of the things that is spectacular about the geodesic dome is the history of it. Buckminster Fuller, who is an inventor, visionary humanitarian, who tried to let people know that we could have direct democracy over 60 years ago. It's something that we're still striving for. It's something people in this movement are interested in having.
If we do get a storm, it would make sense for them to try to relocate. Where they're positioned in Niagara Square for snow plowing purposes, we would not be able to easily put the snow that would be plowed into that area.
Now, we want to make clear this is not to suggest that the relationship between the occupiers and the city of Buffalo is antagonistic. In fact, it's not that way at all. The Occupy Buffalo movement has a better relationship with the city of Buffalo, we're told, than any Occupy protest in any other city around the nation. In fact, it's a far cry from Washington, D.C., where today we understand at least a dozen protesters were occupied as they were trying to build a more permanent structure similar to this one. Reporting live in Niagara Square, Rachel Kingston, News 4 at 6.
Thank you, Rachel.